a dragon, a fairy, 100 children. This is Vietnam's origin. In Vietnam, there's a phrase you'll hear very often: children of dragon and fairy. This idea comes from one of the oldest recorded legends in Vietnamese culture, found in traditional collections like Linh Nam Chich Quai. Even today, this story is still taught, remembered, and referenced not just as folklore, but as a way of explaining origin and identity. The story begins with Lạc Long Quân. According to the legend, he is descended from a dragon lineage and closely connected to water, which also symbol for rivers, lakes, and the sea. In Vietnamese belief, dragons are not just mythical creatures. They are associated with rain, floods, and agriculture, all essential for early rice-growing societies. Lạc Long Quân is also described as someone who helped people survive. He defeated dangerous creatures, cleared land, and supported communities in building a stable life. So in the story, he represents more than power. He represents protection and the importance of water in early Vietnamese life. O Co is a fairy who comes from the mountains. She is often associated with nature, healing, and knowledge. In contrast to Lạc Long Quân, she represents upland regions, which also symbol for forests, hills, and highland environments. This difference is important because early Vietnam was not a single uniform space. There were communities living in lowland river areas and others living in mountainous regions. The story reflects that reality: two different environments, two different ways of life. The legend says Lạc Long Quân and O Co met and became partners. This part of the story is often understood symbolically. It represents the connection between different groups of people, those living in lowlands and those in highlands. Instead of being separate, they are described as having a shared beginning. This is one of the key ideas of the legend. Then comes the most unique part of the story. O Co gives birth to a sack of 100 eggs. From these eggs, 100 children are born. This detail is not just unusual, it carries meaning. It suggests that all Vietnamese people come from the same origin, regardless of where they live. It also emphasizes unity: one source, many descendants. After the children are born, Lạc Long Quân tells O Co that they come from different worlds. He belongs to the water, she belongs to the mountains. So they decide to separate. 50 children follow Lạc Long Quân to the lowlands and coastal areas. 50 follow O Co to the mountainous regions. This part of the story is often interpreted as an explanation of how early Vietnamese communities spread out across different geographical environments. But importantly, they are still described as one family. This is why the phrase "children of dragon and fairy" is still used today. It reflects a key idea in Vietnamese identity. Even though people live in different regions, with different lifestyles and cultures, they share the same origin. The story does not focus on division, it focuses on connection. When you travel across Vietnam today, you can still see the contrast described in the legend. Mountain and delta regions in the north, coastal and delta regions in other parts of the country, each with their own way of life. The legend is not a scientific explanation, but it reflects how people historically understood their environment and their origins. But the story of Lạc Long Quân and O Co doesn't end there. According to Vietnamese myth, their eldest son became Hung Quoc Vong, the first king of Van Lang, the earliest known Vietnamese state. From him began the line of 18 Hung kings, who laid the foundation of the nation. And today, Vietnamese people still honor them through one of the most important national traditions. If you want to understand more about this tradition, watch our video about the Hung King's ceremony. And that's why Vietnamese people call themselves children of dragon and fairy. Not just a legend, but a shared origin that still connects the country today.